What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So many people are asking, when will we see more come to the American people? We got updates on a $1,000 stimulus debit card, going to talk about President Biden's promises, we're going to address Nancy Pelosi fighting with her own caucus, and we're going to dive into the stimulus package update and debt ceiling increase. There's a lot of stuff to go over in today's video, so make sure you stick around and watch the entire thing. First, the media outlets are asking, where is all this funding for the American people at? When are we going to see more for the American people? We know there's $6.3 billion right now being proposed to support 80,000 Afghan refugees. Okay. There's $1 billion for the Iron Dome in Israel. Okay. The Biden administration is also letting in thousands of Haitian migrants. All right. But yet the American people are still suffering. Here's what we know. And just to give you an idea of how much money is being spent and how much the U.S. government is spending on certain things, if the $6.3 billion is only going to 80,000 Afghan refugees, that comes out to over $78,000. I think it's like $78,750 or something like that, somewhere around there. But still, just shy of $80,000 per Afghan refugee, when that money could go to the American people. This, again, these are our tax dollars. One expert says that Democrats are too focused on sending our tax dollars away to other countries, and they could take this $7.3 billion, that's $6.3 billion from the Afghan refugees, and the $1 billion from the Iron Dome in Israel. If they take that $7.3 billion, it could provide a $600 stimulus check to 12 million Americans. 12 million. $600 is not life-changing, but to people that have nothing or people that do not even have the ability to put food on the table, $600 could provide meals for possibly months. Now, one thing I just want to ask you guys, how much do you spend per month on food? I'm just curious because a lot of people, a lot of experts, a lot of economists are saying that a $600 stimulus check could potentially last months. My guess is that's 2 months. I don't see how a family could last 3 months on $600, spending $200 in a single month. Now, could you spend $300 per month and make it last for 2 months? It's quite possible. It wouldn't be the most nutritious meals. It wouldn't be probably the best quality food or freshest, but you could spend about $10 a day and you could live off that. However, it's a big family, probably not. Now, there's a fight over the debt ceiling. This is going to continue, and some are saying that this is going to be catastrophic. What we are seeing right now is that there are private talks with Mitch McConnell, and he's held these talks with past Treasury secretaries like Steve Mnuchin and Henry Paulson. What we know is at this moment, the GOP is still locked in, and they're not going to accept a debt limit increase. However, okay, and I'm going to explain what's going to happen here, what's going on, because there are reports that say that Mitch McConnell would be open to a debt limit increase and increasing the debt ceiling. However, it would be a specific dollar amount, and he would actually require something in return, and I'll address that in just a minute. But economists and businesses are pushing to see something done immediately. They say we cannot wait. They argue that we need to address the reality of the situation. The debt limit must increase, but not because we need to spend more money, but, and this is coming from economists and business leaders, they're saying, but because that is how you grow any business. And if you look at the United States as a business or an enterprise, you can grow this by taking on debt to expand and grow. But it has to be smart. You have to be smart with what you do with that money. So we will see what happens there. Mitch McConnell, though, made it very clear that he is not bluffing here. He will not vote to pass any bill that contains a debt ceiling suspension. He's not going to do that. And the reason why, he does not trust Democrats. Republicans do not trust Democrats to smartly go about this the right way, invest into just critical things and infrastructure and places that we will see the biggest return on our investment. He doesn't trust them. but reports indicate that he would be open to a small debt limit increase. However, it would come with a price, and that price is going to be that Democrats must pretty much whittle down their $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill and make it so that it would not cause additional inflation. If Mitch McConnell believes it would cause additional inflation, he would not support it. That is the report as of this afternoon. However, today Nancy Pelosi stated that everything is good, Democrats are calm, and she says everything is currently coming together. Now, I don't know if we can honestly believe this, but that is what she's saying. Right now, getting the $3.5 trillion bill passed is what progressives say is needed. And today, 11 senators back the U.S. Progressive Caucus and demand that the passage of the entire Biden agenda, the Build Back Better plan, happens all together and not one bill at a time. And I want to point this out. I want to point something out that you may not have picked up on recently, but recently, Democrats have changed from calling this a stimulus package or the infrastructure bill, now calling this the Build Back Better plan, Biden's entire agenda. They're not even calling this the American Families Plan anymore. The reason for that is because it's coming with a somewhat bad kind of connotation with it. That, oh, this is only for families. When essentially that's what it is. Essentially, that's who it's going for, is families, parents, children, and all individuals. Like, well, what about us? That's the problem. When you look at the bill and you look at the name of the bill, the American Families Plan, you're probably thinking, well, that's discouraging. There's nothing for us. And as of right now, there's not much. But this isn't right now. This isn't the promise that Nancy Pelosi made to moderates. The promise that Nancy Pelosi made to moderates was that she was going to vote on the $1.2 trillion bill and the $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill separately, not all together. But it's those promises is actually causing this bill to possibly not pass at all. There's a good chance. And even one progressive, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, she says that we need to take some of the money away from the military budget. We need to take away some of this money and use it to fight COVID and provide for our communities. This is what she's saying. That if we were to cut the budget for military by 10%, it would save us about $77 billion in funding. She says that by doing this, we could then push for more things. We could possibly push for unemployment benefits for an additional 5 months. We could support the extension of the eviction moratorium for another 60 days. And today, many lawmakers came out and expressed their concern over getting rid of the student debt. Well, President Biden, he made a campaign promise. He made this promise, about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. And he promised he would get rid of up to $10,000 in student debt. However, for the past 6 months, he's been waiting for a letter from Education Secretary Cardona and to try to figure out, does he have the ability, the legal right to cancel up to $50,000 in student debt? Well, for the past 6 months, he's not received an answer. And many people are upset that President Biden is not addressing the issue. He's just skipping right over it. And that could be one of the reasons why multiple reports are now indicating that President Biden's approval rating has dropped to just 42%. It's not just because of the promises, the unkept promises that President Biden made. It's not just because of the gas prices and inflation that we're seeing. It's not because of the border crisis down in Texas. It's not because of the Afghanistan issue. It's not because of all those things. It's a huge mix. But right now, some are saying it's not looking good. Even Vice President Kamala Harris, her approval rating is just 49%. That is not good. Now, here's the big issue we're facing right now. And this is the first deadline that we're coming up upon, and it's not the debt limit increase. On Monday, there's supposed to be a vote on a $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill. It's not looking likely. Most lawmakers don't expect to see this happening, and if this doesn't happen by that date, by Monday, What we are seeing is then House progressives are most likely going to vote against the bill whenever it happens. And Senator Sinema says she will vote against the $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill if progressives go and tank the bipartisan bill. So it's not great news there. And some big news out today is that John Yarmuth is saying that his experts are telling him that right now there's not enough time to do a budget reconciliation bill that holds the debt ceiling suspension or increase in it, as this would take between 3 to 4 weeks. Currently, as of today, 4 weeks from today is October 20th. That is when the estimated date that the United States will run out of money is. So again, that's 4 weeks from today. And I bring this up because if progressives are pushing for a $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill, yet Democrats only have one reconciliation card left, it's going to make it impossible, or pretty much impossible, to throw in a debt ceiling increase or suspension into the bill. It's going to make it very difficult because many people say there's not enough time. And again, if there's only one of these available, Democrats have to do both. They have to increase the debt ceiling. They have to pass this large infrastructure bill. They need to fund the U.S. government for the next year, or at least a stopgap bill. They have to do that. And today Republicans are pretty much alluding to the fact that they're just waiting to see what Democrats are going to do. They're pretty much sitting by saying, well, we'll see what they do and then we'll act from there. Well, experts say that if Democrats let the government default on their debts, this would be the first time in history this happens to the United States. These experts are saying Republicans will have an easy win back to get the House and the Senate. And if Republicans keep all their seats and take back just 10 more seats in the Senate, they will have enough members to surpass the filibuster on every single bill. So the big news is, if this happens, if Republicans win back the House, which is projected, if they win back the Senate, which again is projected they will do, and if they can get the 10 seats back from Democrats, which is not projected as of right now, but if this happens, if the debt ceiling doesn't get increased, if we default on our debts, experts say that yes, Republicans will get more than 10 seats, which means they will have more than 60 votes, which means President Biden will be in an awkward situation, because if Republicans go and pass anything in the Senate and the House, send it over to President Biden's desk, and then he has to continually veto these bills, that's going to be a political nightmare for him. So some are saying it's not looking good for Democrats. But this is why Democrats are trying to do all that they can right now to make sure that they are getting as many people to support them as they possibly can. And this, even though it's not looking great at the moment, they are trying to do different things. And there's a couple provisions in this next $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill that is very popular amongst the American people. One of those is the child tax credit extension. It's helped out millions of Americans and children get out of poverty. But if this doesn't get passed, this extension doesn't get passed, these children could be pushed right back into poverty, which is not going to help out their parents. Also, the other very popular piece of legislation is another $1,000 stimulus debit card for seniors. And I want to address this. Right now, Democrats are saying that seniors will be their ticket, so they have to provide more money and more assistance to seniors. This is also why they're trying to get the SSI benefit increased to keep it level with the federal poverty limit. If this doesn't happen, we could have issues. But this $1,000 stimulus debit card would go to all seniors. This would go to anybody making less than $75,000 as an individual, or $250,000 as a couple. What I can tell you right now is the goal with this is to make sure that we can help those that are currently paying for dental work, vision care, and hearing. But experts are currently saying this is a great way to get seniors back on your side when you have provided so little to them over the past year. So, let me just ask you one question. Do you agree that seniors have been overlooked in this past year? If you do, give me your answer down in the comment section below. But again, that's what we know right now. There's a lot of stuff going on, but as always, as I know more, I promise I will fill you in on all the latest news and updates. Again, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.